I believe one of the most important forms of entertainment is children's media because it is a good tool to help shape the next generations of societal members, and there's a lot of things that you can express more creatively, I think, with a children's film, because like in more adult films, you can be just kind of straight up like, this is like what's happening, right? But with children's film, you have to kind of like maybe dance around certain topics to try to make children understand better about what message you want to give. And so with that said, I sometimes think a lot of children's media is very interesting to watch and can have very deeper meanings, With that said, you're not getting that from Despicable Me 4. The fact that this is the fourth movie, I don't think anyone was expecting that much. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it doesn't need to be that complex or anything like that. So anyways, I wanted to go see Despicable Me 4. I mean, I've seen the other ones. I was like, might as well go see it. So, I went with some homies, and right, we went, try to get the latest showing possible, because the hardest part about seeing kids movies is, having to deal with kids themselves. So once I heard a kid yell "skibbity" in the Despicable Me theater, I was like, oh, we're in for a treat today. But it wasn't as bad as it wasn't that bad, actually. So there was like 10 people in the theater. It was fine. But so we went and we saw the movie, and I don't think I have much to say about this movie other than the fact that like let's talk about it, because that's what I do here on my channel now. Nothing too complex. I guess what I have to say is, the trailers are, tools to drive people in the theaters, right? And there are things in the trailer like, okay, that looks like it's gonna be an important role, and then there's things where I'm like, oh, that wasn't an important role, because there's things like the two things I thought were gonna be more important in the movie were going to be the superhero minions, and then like this new villain. But honestly, they weren't even like the strongest parts, in my opinion, of the movie. No, don't get me wrong. So our new villain, Macklemore here, he voiced by Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell, I think, did a great job with this villain. And honestly, I thought this villain was actually pretty kind of cool. His whole, so like the story is like, basically Gru is going to like a ceremony for his old like villain school, and Maxine was like his old colleagues. They were students together, and apparently he's trying to get revenge on Gru because he's like, for just very petty reasons. He stole my act at the talent show. It was like that episode of Arthur where Binky stole Buster's report on, I don't even remember what the report was. No, Binky stole my joke. That's what it was. Buster's whole report was based off a joke that Binky stole. It was like that. That was the whole plot line of, this guy. But I would say this villain kind of pretty despicable. His whole stick was, he was like, I'm controlling roaches to like take over, to get revenge on Gru or whatever. That's his whole motive. But like, he practically turned himself into a roach. It was kind of gross and disgusting, but like that made him kind of an interesting villain. Like, oh, like your whole shtick is roaches, and you're using roach power. You're controlling roaches. You have a mecha roach. You have a theme here. I like villains with a theme. It's very interesting. And he kind of gave Gru a run for his money, So that's one storyline. There was a lot of storylines in this movie that kind of honestly, I thought this movie would have been better if it was like split up, because there were parts of the movie where it's like slice of life, a little bit of action. It was kind of all over the place versus like maybe some of the other like Despicable Me movies. Like I said, it's a kids movie. Like with like the dwindling attention span of the youth and even some older people, sure, it was kind of a lot, but it's for the kids, right? So that was one of the plot lines, was that like, the second plot line kind of was like, they have to move because they're running away from him. And I thought this is where we could have had some things shine a little bit more and talk about some serious messages, because there are parts where they have to move because Macklemore is after them, and the kids, they're all like, I don't want to move, that's, I have friends here and this and that, I don't want to have a new life. And they could have probably leaned in more into like, hey, let's kind of discuss that, because that's some things that kids go through, and it's tough. But they didn't. Like I said, it's this Despicable Me movie. What was I expecting? Then the minions have their own kind of plot line like usual. That's kind of like Illumination's like bread and butter. The minions. That's what we're here for. The minions. The Facebook moms are having a field day with that one, right? So I don't even know if that's a thing anymore, but I remember it used to be. So their whole thing was like they get recruited by the anti-villain league or whatever, and then they become superheroes, the mega minions, and they're not really utilized that much, if I'm being honest with you. 2 scenes really. So that was kind of whatever, but it made for some funny things, right? Like I said, we're just here for the giggles, the silly little giggles, the silly billies, right? If I will. But I say where the movie shines, I think for me, the plot, and like, don't get me wrong, the plots all kind of do come together towards the end and tie everything in a nice little bow. But the plot line that I kind of like, so Gru, when they get witness protection program, basically they go to a new area, you know, his neighbor is Stephen Colbert, basically. But they have a daughter who's voiced by Joey King, I believe, from, you know, hit movie Kissing Booth. But she is like blackmailing Gru, like, I'm gonna expose you because I want you to help me become a villain and get into villain school. If not, I'm gonna tell everybody a secret and your cover's gonna be blown. And he's like, oh, I can't let that happen. And then you get a part where like they do some whole heist thing, and that was actually kind of fun. That was kind of fun. Gru, he's kind of like training this girl a little bit on how to become a villain, and it was kind of like, oh, like a passing of torch thing. And honestly, like, you couldn't really do that with his kids. Maybe his like newborn, you know. And that was another kind of dynamic we were seeing, is like the dynamic between Gru and his son, them trying to bond with each other. That was kind of cute. There were like moments of like slice of life like that, especially like the you know, mom, Kristen Wiig's character. Also, she's got like some of the coolest outfits. Like, her fit is just like amazing, spectacular, dope. But like, they're going shopping and just like normal like slice of life stuff. I actually kind of found that a little bit. That was kind of fun to see. Like, I mean, slice of life stuff can be nice, you know, and it was, you know, kind of fun to see like, let's see Gru in like a normal setting and not just a villain or a secret agent or whatever, you know. But so this girl like trying to like learn from Gru, that was actually kind of cool. Passing of a torch, you know, like teacher teach mentor, because I just don't see it really happening with his daughters. Maybe Edith, she's kind of, you know, mischievous. But so this character, you know, at first she was kind of annoying, and then like, oh, you're actually kind of like, you have your goals and your ambitions, you know. She also has a cat, and I just like cats, so there's a soft spot for that. And she makes a Dragon Force reference when she's playing Dance Dance Revolution everywhere. So, you know, I love me some Dragon Force. I was a little surprised to hear Through the Fire and the Flames in the Despicable Me movie. But so they try to go steal a honey badger. They made a cringy joke about honey badger don't care. Thank you, Steve Carell. I never thought I'd hear you say that in the Gru voice. So that storyline, I actually kind of, oh, that would be cool, you know, to have that maybe a focal point. If, you know, when they make Despicable Me like 50, right? But so eventually it all ties up with, you know, because they went to go steal this honey badger from the school mascot. The principal there was like, oh, there's a tracker on honey badger. Now I know where Gru is. So I'm gonna go tell, you know, Macklemore where Gru is, because we have a mutual understanding that like, I want my honey badger and you want Gru. So there's that. So that's when it kind of comes together. And then like Macklemore comes, like I said, this guy's pretty despicable. I mean, he turned another man into like half man, half roach. It was kind of like a little bit cold of a villain versus some of the other ones I may have seen. I don't remember much about other. Vector was the one who stands out with me the most, if we're all being honest with you. And I thought it'd be someday cool to like bring Vector back as a villain, but we'll get back to that here in a minute. But when they're fighting, the old lady comes and visit the little kiddos, because they're all in the house together with the honey badger. Gru and Kristen Wiig, they're out there playing tennis at the country club with Stephen Colbert and his wife. Eventually they get alert, like, oh, the kids are in danger. They try to go save it. Macklemore shows up, steals the baby. That's pretty despicable too. Turns the baby into a little cockroach humanoid version, gains control of him, and it's kind of creepy because the baby's twitching and like, oh, it's just kind of woo. They have a fight. Macklemore's girlfriend is Gloria from Modern Family, which I actually thought like that kind of fit her dynamic pretty decently. I thought most of the voice casting was actually pretty cool, pretty solid choices. So Guru tries to save his son, you know, eventually has those moments like, you know, son, I love you, you don't have to do this, you know, and then the son like snaps out of it, helps him out, and then like the minions kind of the last minute come and like help, but like by that point, for the most part, like I think it was already taken care of. So like I felt the mega minions were a little underutilized as far as plot goes, you know. And then after that, you know, they arrest Macklemore, and it's just, this is it, you know, we're going back home, everything's all happy. Agnes, she reunites with her goat. That was also another tiny little plot point. You know, we all wrap things in a bow. It kind of ends with Gru going up to Macklemore and like, hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I did steal your act from singing Karma Karma Chameleon at the talent show in like 9th grade. So yeah, straight up, I did do that. I am despicable. And he's like, oh, you know, well, I'll challenge you anytime, anywhere. So they have a moment in prison. Our two lovely former Scranton, Pennsylvania Dunder Mifflin managers have a little sing-off singing Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which honestly is a little stupid, but it was kind of funny and kind of nice to just see the whole, like, because at that point they literally brought everyone back. They literally brought everyone back in the prison. All the former villains from like all the former movies, including the Minions. Vector was there. They were all there. Sandra Bullock's character, literally all there, just singing Tears for Fears, and it was kind of fun to see. It was kind of fun to see because, like, honestly, these were all former colleagues of Gru. Yeah, he put them in there, practically helped put them in there, you know. But they're all former colleagues of the Gru, and they're all singing, having fun, and it was all kind of nice. Just a reminder that this is a kid's movie. It doesn't have to be that serious, right? You know, granted, I would have loved a little more complexity, but it's not. I'm not the target audience, right? You know, my attention span, you know, it's fine for the most part. But like, it was kind of fun. Plus, I like that song, right? Like everybody's singing along, everyone's dancing. You know, and like I said, you see everybody. You know, and then it ends with Gru and his family. You even see his twin brother. They're having a little barbecue. You know, singing Tears for Fears. And I guess the important thing you learn is that the entire movie, it's about family. Always has been. So yeah, that was Despicable Me 4. Like I said, you don't expect much from this movie. And then yeah, the movie ended. I heard some kid yell Skibbity, which gave me this vision of like the future of media. Like Skibbity influences kids now. I wonder like how kids movies are gonna be like in the next few years. Are they gonna be more like that kind of media? That's gonna be interesting to see for the most part. So yeah, Despicable Me 4, it was okay. You know, I'd say the funniest joke to me in that whole movie was there's a scene where like Gru's picking up groceries and his wife is like, "Did you get the milk?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got the milk. I got almond milk. I got 2%. I got milk and magnesium." He's like naming 50 different milks, and she goes like, "Did you get regular milk?" And he says, "They don't make that anymore." I found that funny because I honestly can't remember the last time I saw regular milk. Maybe when I was in kindergarten at 5 years old and seeing the little whole milk cartons. That's probably the last time I actually saw real milk. Last time I really can remember seeing ever actual just straight up whole milk. I don't remember the last time regular milk has been in my household. So there's that. Yeah. Despicable Me 4, Despicable Me Forever. They brought everyone back. Even Pharrell. They brought Pharrell back for the music. All I have to say is his Lego biopic is gonna go crazy. It's gonna be a hard movie. Juice out. Little tidbits I forgot to add when I was initially recording this. Number one, I like how the karate instructor in this movie looks similarly to like the one from regular show for the Death Kwon Do. This is probably his son, and regular show one is like his father. Also, so I mentioned that the Mega Minions I didn't feel had a huge role in the entire movie, but I'm pretty sure the Mega Minions only reason for being made and introduced in this movie was so they could have a spin-off of a Minions superhero like movie. I fully believe that is what Illumination is gonna about to drop soon one day. They're gonna announce it. I mean, there was even a scene in Despicable Me 4 where they parodied Spider-Man 2 where Tobey Maguire is like pulling the train back. You know, they parodied a couple of like superhero movies. So mark my words, like they're gonna make a Mega Minions movie. Like mark my words. Pray to God I'm wrong, but who knows?